So welcome. Do we want to start just with the answers from yesterday?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
we'll let people in as they come. Um, the first question was, which coaching skills were easy for you in the practicing? And yeah, you overwhelmingly said that listening was working very, very well for you, which is wonderful. And also, and that was yeah, a positive surprise for us, is articulating what's going on in reframing, because usually that is a skill that we experience is not the easiest one to deal with. So it's very interesting that you feel that you are covering that one already. And then, yeah, followed next is intuition and curiosity. And also, these are actually skills that, in general, when we do this type of workshop or in coaching, that new coaches feel most challenged with. So that's super interesting that you feel that. The next slide, we ask you to, which is the most challenging coaching skill for you? And by far, that is still the embodiment, metaphor, and geography. We'll come back to it. You also had a question a little bit about it, so we'll come back to that. So interesting. And then powerful questions and acknowledging and championing are next. Got less votes, but still for each of you, hey, still struggling with those powerful questions, but also in acknowledging and championing. Um, we'll give you a challenge for acknowledging, actually, for tonight as a homework. So we'll come back to that. And then next, and this will be a bit of a crowded slide, sorry for that, but thanks a lot for all the feedback that you were giving. And that, as we ask you here, is what do I need to do to overcome my most challenging coaching skills? And by far it was try, practice, just do it. So you made our life easy as facilitators, because that's what we wanted to actually put you with you as a challenge on, say, hey, you just train yourself, try it out in the practice round of today. So today will be another practice round as you had yesterday. So really practice that and make that work for yourself. Also, we put some resources, the powerful questions or some of the other tools that you can use to overcome your challenge. So this is a little bit what we wanted to get for you. And anyway, you will get the slides on Tembo tonight, so we'll put these on Tembo for you, so you can also see, hey, what did we come up collectively as a group on, what can we do about our challenges? So you will see all that. And then with the fourth question we ask you, and thank you for answering, and we made a summary of what you've been writing, is any questions you have. So we'll go through that now. Connie, you
Yeah.
take it from
Yeah.
here.
So the first question is about, if a coachee is kind of stuck in something and they know it, right? And the crux of the question is how to react to this, avoiding just insisting on the necessity of rigor. And maybe stuck is exactly the term to think about. You could feed back to the person, you seem stuck, or a question about, what is in the way for you to go on, or because in this question it says had not succeeded in sticking to them, and the person knows whatever it was that the person themselves knows they're not succeeding. So you go, you don't need to be pushing you need to keep doing it. You can actually step back and think, ask questions that give that person some perspective on being a little stuck, maybe, or not succeeding. Does that make sense? Then the introducing the skill, embodiment, metaphor, and geography in a discussion. We're going to do a little practice on this afterwards. So we'll go back. But the basic point here is, practice, practice, practice. You guys wrote already, I want to try it. Someone wrote, I tried it and it worked. So some of this is just practicing a little bit, that muscle, trying it out a little bit. And you're always in a situation where you can also, doesn't work, leave it. It doesn't have, you don't need to insist. You can just pull it out there and see what happens. Would you like to play with a picture about this, or really
And
invite.
again, it's using a little bit your intuition. If you see that there is something happening there, that is the moment where you say, hey, it seems like there's something happening to your body, or hey, what I see you doing. I gave a bit the example in my example with Connie was, and that often comes back, is the balance. Often people feel that they are a bit in imbalance, so that's a bit of an easy metaphor. And another tip is, if you really see something, just say it, but leave the person to then name what it really is for them. So there, as a coach, and you feel that maybe a metaphor can actually let this person reflect, because that's what you want. You want the other person to reflect on their situation, because then they start to explore what they can do about their situation. So if you see something like, oh, it feels like you have to carry a rock with you. That's what I see. But is that what it is, or how would you describe it if you would have to name a metaphor? So then you give it back to the other person, to the coachee or to your staff member, and then they name what it is for them. Or you get, what are you talking about? And then throw it out, and you try another question.
And it isn't, I mean, none of this is, you don't have to do these things. It's just a list of skills that are nice to be able to use and get, a toolbox, let's say. So you take out the tool when you feel it makes sense. Yeah, even geography. Now we're online, so it's a little harder. But the exercise that we did on the wheel, often that's a very geographical kind of, you're walking forward to the 10 or the 8 or whatever, and back again, and looking, and all these things. You could do geography on paper. Let's draw the picture, draw circles for each of the people that are involved in this issue that you have, and how are they compared to each other, where are they placed, or it's just to expand the horizon of what the person can think about or reflect on in any given conversation or issue that they're working on. Antoine.
Something, because it links to what you're saying in the previous question about my question would be, how long will last a coaching session? Because in fact, sometimes we are stuck because we try a question in a certain angle, it doesn't work, and then I think this is like only one session, and then when you are coaching, I guess that you may have different session, and you are coming back to what you did, what you said, and then asking yourself, was it the correct angle to discuss about this? And then maybe you have to think about it and try something else. And then, as long as we are doing only one session, where sometimes we are stuck, so it may be also linked to the fact that you may have different sessions, and you may change the angle of the discussion, and you may change the different skills you are using, in fact.
Yes, and no. Yes, you're right that it's going to be, if you have a colleague or if you have someone you're managing, there's going to be something you might go back to, or that person might go back to, and so there'll be, we're not talking about sort of coaching sessions where you are a coach but you're just using those skills. It still might be something that comes back around. So you're right that then you can try something, and if it doesn't seem right, then you do something else another time. Yeah. The other thing is really in the moment, try something, and if it falls flat, leave it. There's something about it doesn't. it doesn't matter if it doesn't, remember all this business of resonance. So if it doesn't resonate, leave it, but trying it might actually really help that person, so yeah, it's very different for different people. This one to me is a little bit playful also. So you don't want to take it too seriously, but you do give the person some air to think differently or speak differently about something they're struggling with.
Yeah, and then for coaching, we do as coaches. Yeah, sessions are usually 45 to minutes to an hour. And it depends really what somebody brings to the coaching. A very broad goal for the coaching, like I want to improve my leadership, might have different aspects and might run over different sessions. So you chop it up in sort of like little topics on, hey, what did you experience since we last met? But topics can be done in 15 minutes, and sometimes it takes a bit more, and you do a little bit more exploring. We agree that for the practicing, because we don't want to take too much of your time, we gave you a bit of a tight schedule, but we also said if you want to use a bit more time, please go ahead. But for the practicing actually to come to it, that's also why we gave you a limited time on say, hey, if there is a topic, just work on it for about 12 minutes and then move on, or 15 minutes or 20 minutes, as we usually do in workshops.
Yeah, and you'll see how you use it.
Thank
I
you.
mean, some of you are supporting people, and so you do a lot of this sort of conversations where someone needs to think through something. Yeah, so that might be something that takes a bit of time. The more you practice, also you sometimes find, at least I've found, that sometimes things go faster because you get quicker at finding, a way of having that coaching conversations. Yeah, I become more easy with it, let's say. Antoine, you wanted to respond? No, you're okay?
Sorry, I cut my microphone. No, that's fine. Thank you very much for your
Yeah,
answer. Yeah.
and we'll keep. So the next question actually is a little bit fits to this. It's this business of how do you start a coaching? Do you start it with the person saying where they want to go? Do you take time to listen to the person? Do we leave the person talking? So there are a couple of different things. One that is important is we often talk about an agenda, that it can be important if you're going to do a coaching conversation with someone that the agenda is a little bit clear, and there needs to maybe be a little bit of moments where the person is getting clear in their mind what's the agenda for that conversation. So there it makes a good sense to let the person at least think through it. But there's another rule of thumb that is important for you and not easy for me at least, is to actually help the person, to coach the person rather than the story, because you have someone comes with a dilemma or an issue or whatever, and they have a lot to tell about the thing itself that isn't really about them and what they can do. And what's most important in coaching, one of the important things is it's the person, you're empowering that person or supporting that person to figure out what is their possible action. That's the end goal, let's say. So there you certainly can, you don't need to listen to the entire and what she said and he said and so on. Remember back again, we don't even need to know that. So you can definitely ask the person, listen, I just want to ask you, how was that for you? So bring it back to where is it that you are in this story, and you're the one, I'm coaching the person, not the story. So at one moment in the beginning, to get a clear agenda, might be good to get, go a few different places with the person to get it clear. What is the issue here? And then also at some point, if the person is talking a lot about the story, you can cut through and say, I want to know how do you feel about it? Or what is this? How is this important for you? Or where are you in this? Or something that really brings the person back to their own self and forgetting all those other guys and what they did and blah, blah, blah. Okay. There's a Anne-Laure, you have your question, your hand up.
Yes, in reaction to exactly to what you say, when there is a tension or potentially a conflict between two people, or in a team, a global problem to address, could the powerful question be, how do you see your contribution in solving that problem, and what could you do to make that situation progress? In order for the, in order for the person to to feel to feel responsible also, and not a victim of
you could ask, what could you do, what could you do? And again, simple, not you, what could you do, I would say, not what could you do to do, just what could you do. That way the person doesn't have to think through how they're going to find a solution, but just the immediate question they're confronted with, okay, what do I need to do? So this is another one we could talk a long time about, but let's leave it there. Coach the person, not the story. How far and direct can we be in the requesting? Now, Richard, you're the one. You're the one. What is it you say? Challenging is the request on steroids. What about how far can they go?
No, the requesting is really what you see happening in the conversation. So having a talk with somebody, and you will be using this with people in your team that might report to you. So, and we know that then it can be sometimes be challenging using coaching skills. But when you would apply coaching skills with somebody, you let them explore first on what is possible for them. So from how the conversation goes, that's where you can formulate the request. So it's not about bringing your agenda, what you want out of it, because then you're no longer coaching. Then you give a direct order. But if you hear a person constantly saying, you know, I need to quit this. I need to tell to my direct supervisor that I'm overwhelmed, that I can't do this extra task. So if that person says that maybe one time, maybe twice, maybe three times, and you really sense that is the solution for the person, that's when you can make a request or a challenge where you say, hey, you know, you mentioned this now 2 times. I have a request for you. I have a request that before we meet next time or in the next couple of days, you just simply tell the person, and then you move on from there. And then the person might say, no, that's not exactly what I want to do. But the request comes from, it's in the air. The person doesn't really frame it very well. So you help as a coach the person to actually do it. And it's not your agenda. That's the difference between.
Yeah. And that kind of goes down to the last question about guiding versus giving advice. Yes, there is some of a gray area. I think the difference, in a way, you know, step back even from guiding if you feel that your agenda is you know, getting in the way, let's say. Yep. So it's the Richard, your term, they say the question is, do we have tips? As soon as you can feel yourself, you know, you're up in level 1 listening, something's going on, take a moment, check it, you know.
Yeah. And also a tip is to be explicit. If you're in the mode of coaching and you agree that with somebody that reports to you, one of your team members, and you're in the coaching way, but you're not getting there. I mean, in the end, we do this workshop to add coaching skills to your toolbox as a leader. That's the objective of this workshop. So if you really see that somebody really doesn't see it, or if they come up with something that you feel, ooh, this might really be dangerous. So we advise you to take a bit of risk when you apply coaching skills. Let them find their solution, let them learn from the mistake. But if you really see it's not there, you use another skill or tool that you have in your toolbox and say, hey, you know, I can share an experience, or hey, can I give you an advice? And then you can still do an advice in a coaching way. My advice would be this. How is that for you? Or maybe you want to do it slightly different in your circumstances. So you can still use an advice in a coaching kind of way.
Just never use the word just. You just do this. But
All right.
Piece of advice, may you. There's in the middle, there's this question of taking notes, just to say. It's a, I mean, I would be very careful. If you just put a word down here and there, perhaps. It's a question of whether you can listen and really take the person in on the second and third level when you take notes. But it does make sense to reuse the words. So, yeah. So the idea of taking in what they're saying and thinking about reusing words is fine. Yeah, I don't know. Have you ever taken notes, Richard?
I take notes, but very short words of some key things. So you need to be very careful that you remain in your level 2 and level 3. So if your note taking is putting you in level 1, you're not really listening anymore, because then it's about having good notes. What I did in my coach training is we were pushed to maybe sometimes not take notes, but really have a long discussion and then to summarize what was this about. It was very interesting and surprising that to end the conversation, even sometimes when it was a coaching session of 45 or 60 minutes, it was fairly easy to write down, hey, it was about this. So the topic was, I'm overwhelmed in my job. What does the coachee going to do? And what do I need to follow up next time? It was fairly easy to put those notes down also after the conversation. But I usually make some notes. I write some quick, brief words now just to help me. And then after a coaching conversation, I quickly work out those notes. I don't take a lot of time on it, but just to be clear, what is the coachee going to do? If you do want to write and you're going to be maybe on a one-to-one with somebody, maybe in a face-to-face situation, if you do want to write notes, just mention that. Say, hey, I write a few words there. So then the person is...
Okay.
All right. Before we send you off,
we want to do
a little challenge for you on the next slide.
Yes. So, since this is the big issue, is this embodiment metaphor, we would like to do a round where you actually name as a metaphor or something with your body where you feel it, the spirit you are in for the practicing you're going to be doing in a moment. So we take another round, and there's not that many of you that wrote that you were comfortable with it, but I'm going to choose someone who did, right? That they were comfortable just to start it off. So Leila, would you be the first? What's the metaphor, or how is it physically for you right now, the spirit you're in for practicing today? You can act it out or name it however you like.
I'm not going to act. I have a problem with my shoulder, but okay. It's more like surfing.
Surfing. I love it. Beautiful. So who would you like to
Tatiana.
Pass it to? Tatiana.
I was trying to think. I'd say can we give an emotion? We can, yeah, enthusiastic.
Yeah. Enthusiastic. Is there somewhere in your body you feel it? When you think of enthusiastic, is it a place in your body or a motion you would make? Yeah, that's it. I love it. Who's the next person that'll give us a little bit of life on this?
Naquin.
Great, Naquin. Now we see the top of your head there. Okay. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. I would say something like hoping for enlightenment, like the sunflower, you know?
A sunflower. I love it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Very beautiful.
And who's next?
Pass it on.
Kathy.
Thanks. For me, I think that I'm a little bit thinking spring as well. But like for me, the sunshine through the window.
Yeah.
Clarity.
Yeah. Nice.
That's for me.
Sunshine through the window.
I'm gonna give it to Linda.
Thank you, Cathy. It's definitely the tough one for me.
Yeah. So you have to sort of loosen up a little. Start with an emotion if you want, just the word.
Just a word as a spirit. I don't know. I maybe curiosity. Like I'm curious. I'm
Curious. So is there a gesture or something in your body to demonstrate this curiosity, or a picture that you have?
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, I don't know actually. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. Not a problem. And this is, absolutely fine. Curiosity, cool.
Yeah, curiosity.
It's a nice emotion or.
And then Elodie?
Spirit.
I'm the same as Linda. This is really a tough one for me.
Really hard.
Yeah, really hard one. I really liked what Kathy said about the sun and and the fact that it brings you clarity. So I don't want to steal the same thing, but something about just like I really don't like.
It's a hard one for you, huh?
I'm really not good.
No. But clarity and something.
Clarity and something with light. Yeah, with light.
Something with light. Yeah. Great.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. And there's no stealing here. We're inspired by each other. So that's it. It can be the same metaphor for all of us, for that matter. But yeah, interesting that it's hard, huh? So it's hard for some of us. No problem at all. Who'd you pass it on to?
I pass it on to Marine.
Marine.
Okay, thanks. I will say for me maybe hiking, climbing.
Climbing.
Beautiful.
I love it. Cool.
So I will choose Lydie.
Me today, I'm very low in energy, so it's more like a rainy day. So I would say that if Cathy is bringing the light, maybe I'll get a beautiful rainbow by the end of the day.
Lovely.
All right.
Lovely pictures. Go. Who should be?
Benoit.
Where's Benoit?
Yeah. It's more a situation for me. It's maybe watching some birds with a pair of binocular, because you need to be really focused.
Yeah.
And after the yesterday session, it was quite tiring to be really focused and stay calm, even if it's for 50 minutes or 20 minutes.
Nice one. Thank you. Who do you pass it to?
Alexandra.
Thank you. So for me, it would be like ready to be paragliding.
Ready to be paragliding.
Yeah.
Standing
like
on the edge.
Yeah, exactly. Just before you start running.
Yeah.
There.
Great. That's a great picture too. Thank you. Who do you pass it to?
Yeah, sure. To Janine.
Hi. I think I'm a bit like Lydie. So the image I have is kind of like hiking through mud. I'll hang in there, but it might be a bit hard going today.
Thank you.
I will pass it to Anne-Laure.
Alors, to be completely transparent, today is a very challenging day because I'm working in the same room than my children. So so I try to find a metaphor, and I'm like between the devil and the deep sea, so le marteau et l'enclume. I'm very motivated to stay focused, but I'm working in a chaotic environment.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Thank you. Good one.
And I pass to Karima.
Me today, I'm like Lydie and Janine. I think I'm tired, just tired. You can see me physically like this.
Yeah,
I don't think we must be in the same group today.
No, we'll see. But the feeling is sort of heavy head, looks like. Yeah.
And I passed the
the word to Laure?
I'm in the same mood as Lydie Karima. So for me, it will be, I feel like in a race. And so I can feel it on my shoulder, I think.
In a race. Towards the end, you're tired of this?
Yeah, no, I feel like, yes, with the training, I have a lot of meetings that are one after the other, and I'm trying to find some space, time to breathe. And so, yes, I can feel something heavy on my shoulder now.
Well, I hope, see if you can get it.
Yes, I'm trying to relax now. And I'm passing it to Antoine. I think you didn't spoke.
Not yet. Almost the same, but another image, like it's like in my head with a tornado with a lot of powerful question inside, moving around and turning. So it's more or less the same spirit, but somewhere else in your body.
Yeah, tornado's a little different. Nice.
I will say Mathilde.
Thank you. For me, it's most of all about listening. So I would say ear or headphones.
Cool. So the spirit of open ears. Yeah, nice. Who do we have left? Melody and Claire.
Today, to say the truth, I'm feeling like a sleepy cat. Maybe it's because of my jumper. It's like cozy. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the image I have today. And I would pass the word. Aurore, did you speak already? No, Aurore.
Okay, so me, I'm a bit like Laure. My head is full, lots of things at the same time. So I feel like I need one step at a time. And I feel like horse riding when I have to jump and to concentrate on the next jump.
Before the jump. Yeah?
Before and after one, you have another, and you know.
Very good image.
And I think, I don't know, Melody, did you speak? No?
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, Melody.
Hi. Sorry, I was late.
No problem.
So I was a bit in a rush. So for me, it's a rainy day too. If I look through the window.
Your spirit is a little rained on.
Yeah. But for the session, I will try to let it go. So my image would be something sweet, or maybe something sweet. I don't know.
Yeah. And who was it who said, you know, at the end of rain can be the rainbow?
Yes, or maybe clouds or.
Yeah. Cool. Who are we missing? Anyone? Marie.
So I will say that I feel like I'm in a boat, I'm sailing, because outside there is a sun, and there is wind, and we are all on the same boat, and tomorrow we will arrive at on Earth. So I feel like we are in the same boat.
We're in the same boat. That's the spirit. Cool. Thank
All
you.
Right. Well, that was wonderful. So it was easy, right? So my metaphor is really, I feel lifted, you know, as if I'm like a fairy above all of you. So
yeah.
All right. So you're in the good mood now for the practicing. So it's the same as yesterday. So you saw the instructions: name a topic, coach, coachee, observer. There is one group of two, so Claire and Janine, you're in a group of two, so you don't have an observer, so you can use a bit more time to give feedback when you're the coachee in the role. Anyway, we let you manage your own time. We give you enough time in the breakout groups, and you can use your own time as you want. And again, when you're done, just leave. You don't need to come back to the plenary if you want to. Either Connie or me will be there. But you can just leave, and then you do a form again, and we'll do the feedback tomorrow at the start of the session. So
we're here through the whole thing. If you have questions, you also can just jump back in.
All right. Enjoy the practicing, and see you tomorrow.
Go fly.
Bye-bye.
I think Anne-Laure has a question.
Yeah, sorry.
No.
Sorry, I was late asking the question. My point is, shall we find another topic, another dilemma, or shall we dig the dilemma of yesterday?
It's your choice, but you can also bring a new topic. It's in fact your choice.
Okay.
The choice of the coachee.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. See you tomorrow.
See you.
See you.
Sorry, I can't join I can't click on the room. Maybe because I. Can you resend it again?
Yeah, I'm trying
Richard
to.
is working on it.
I might need to send you to a room for a second, and then I move you again. Is that okay, Anne?
Yeah, no problem.
So I move you to another group. You come there, and don't be surprised if I then move you to the right group.
Okay.
We should be good. Do you see the groups now?
Yes, I do.